all to the AWS Community Day India 2020 virtual edition. I'm happy and equally excited to be part of this online conference. So today I'm here to present a topic on Unicorn, leverage and accelerate CI/CD for databases using AWS native tools. So I'm Vijay Nirmala, a hybrid cloud implementation specialist from IBM. And this is about myself. I'm passionate about AWS cloud solutions, and I journal my cloud experiences in my very own blog, and I do write weekly articles about AWS features and other new introductions of features in AWS in my LinkedIn page. And then these are my LinkedIn and Twitter handles if you're interested. So let's get into the solution. So looking at the agenda, we will look into the current state of DB deployments and why we should be using CI/CD for databases. And we'll pick up a use case architecture with which we will come around the solution and see how it can be done. And the deployment pipeline evolution, how it all happens, and how do we use the AWS native tools, and how the solutions the works inside the AWS native tools, and where all other services could be integrated, along with the complete detailed implementation walkthrough of the solutions. And finally, let's end up with an alternate choices that are available for implementations. Let's dive in. So these are the challenges and the reasons that we are currently facing. CI/CD is basically about continuously integrating every change that happens for be it your databases or it could be your application code. And how do we validate those changes? That is where the CI comes into picture, which is continuous integration. And then about the earlier we capture the error or misrepresented code in our source code repository, the earlier we'll be able to capture and arrest the problem so that the deployments and the time to live is much easier, faster, better, and a qualified product is delivered to the production. That is the aim of following a CI/CD practice. And in order to do this practice for databases, we have lack of environment and configuration that are required to pull through of getting a new database environment, wherein we would need a backup or a snapshot to restore. We should be having the server and the configurations available in order to support that setup, and how we respond to the changes that are happening in the environment when all other teams are using one particular environment. Unless we are in cloud, it's difficult. And in case of any database deployments that is happening, and in case of any issues, we always do a fix forward or a rollback, meaning we take back the changes that we have applied, or we fix the changes that has caused any issues, and then we move forward. And apart from that, we also have the risk of applying the DB changes against the data in the database. So in case if I have run any DML scripts against my data, in case I have updated my data and that has ended up in a wrong way or unexpected way, then taking back those changes are also difficult. So with all these limitations, it was very difficult to implement the solutions before for databases at least. And now let's see a solution which can help us to implement it easily. So let's see the application architecture. This is a simple architecture which is having a web application server with Amazon RDS database as a backend. And the generic services, we are using AWS Secrets Manager and the KMS for encryption, and Amazon CloudWatch and CloudTrail for monitoring and logging purposes, and SNS for email notifications. So let's see the architecture that we have drafted for the RDS databases. The components that we'll be using here would be one web server and one Amazon RDS Aurora MySQL database. Notifications will be via AWS SNS, and alerts will be using ChatOps, and we will be integrating Slack here. Monitoring will be with AWS CloudWatch and CloudTrail as discussed before, and the native tools that will be used here are Code Build and Code Pipeline. In order to use the code build, we'll be creating our own Docker image, and then we'll be retaining the code in the S3 so that it is secure. This is the overall steps that is involved in implementing this architecture. First one would be in any implementation or a CI/CD, we will be having a code that will be retained in some SQL or a text file, and this has to be uploaded into some source code repository, which could be AWS Code Commit, GitHub, or S3, and then we need an environment to run all this and apply these changes and test it whether the changes what we are applying is correct or not. For that, we'll be preparing an ECR image. In our case, we will be creating a MySQL client interactive tool based ECR image, and we'll be retaining it for later to be used with the code build. Code build service, which is allowing us to build, compile, build, run or test against any databases or any other applications. We'll be using the ECR image that we created, and we'll be using the RDS snapshots. For our existing, which is taken from our existing databases, and these snapshots will be used for creating a temporary databases, and we'll be running the DB changes against these temporary databases that are created. So after restoration, we'll be applying the changes, and finally we'll integrate and notify on any mishappenings or even successful and failure notification will be sent via Slack and also through SNS email notifications. Finally, if everything is successful, we could either be deploying it in pre-prod or prod based on the manual approvals that is being given. So let's see in detail. So over here, like in any team, developers will be creating code and they'll be committing into the AWS code commit repository. It could be your GitHub or S3, as AWS code build supports many of the source providers. All this will be starting from the AWS code pipeline, and we'll also be having AWS code build here. Code build is a fully managed continuous integration service that compiles source code, it runs tests and produces packages which are ready to deploy. In our case, we do not have any output to be deployed, but rather we have something to compile and execute so that we can validate the log files to test the integrity of the DB changes that we have created. And we also have code pipeline here. Pipeline is a fully managed continuous delivery service that helps you to automate your release pipelines for fast and reliable application and infrastructure updates. So this will help you to build, test, and deploy your releases in phases of deployment. Each of the action could be retained or captured in a stage, and that stage could be executed and the purpose can be achieved. Then finally, with AWS code build and code pipeline, we also have AWS RDS snapshots here. So let's see what a snapshot is. Basically, a snapshot is, by definition, it is a read-only static view of a database, and it is transactionally consistent with the source database as of the moment it is created. So from RDS perspective, Amazon RDS will create a storage volume snapshot of the DB instance. It will take a backup of the entire DB instance and not just the individual databases. So the disadvantage could be that since the snapshot includes the entire storage volume, the size of the files and the temp files will also add into the volume of the snapshot, and based on use case to use case, the restore time could be more compared to each of the size of the snapshots. So when you perform the restore operations to a point in time from a DB snapshot, what happens is a new DB instance is created, and then the database will also be created. So what happens for every restore, there is a new endpoint that is being created. It's not going to use the existing databases endpoint. That is the one best feature and something good about using Amazon RDS snapshots. And when it comes to notification and alerts, we have also included Slack over here. So this Slack integration is available as part of the AWS chatbot service, which allows us to easily and securely integrate multiple other services into this Slack channel. So with chatbot, we can receive notifications about operational events, security findings, or budget alerts. It will be just delivered into the group ID or the direct messages which we have been configured. So Slack, as we all know, is a workplace communication tool. It's a single place for messaging, and you can also share files and also other utilities can be utilized from Slack. So either you can create a public or a private group channels and use the Slack, or we could use a single direct messages to a single person in the team. So by that way, we have integrated many of the key services into this architecture. So by starting with the code pipeline and the source as well, in the code build section, we will be having certain prerequisites over here as 1, 2, and 3. And finally, we'll be implementing the solutions, ending up with notifications. So let us see in detail what is available in the prerequisites 1, 2, and 3. To start with, as we discussed, we will be taking snapshots from our Amazon Aurora databases from the RDS, and these snapshots could either be taken manually or it could be automated. We can directly utilize from the console, or it could be retained in the S3 for backup purposes. And the second set of prerequisites is about creating the Docker image, which will have the essential software and tools that are required in order to apply the DB changes for our Amazon Aurora database or SQL query changes. So for that, we will be having an image, say suppose Amazon Linux, and on top of that, I'll be having the MySQL client interactive tool versions installed. And this image would be stored in the ECR repository and thus end up in having it in the registry. So later on, this will be used in the code build tool. And the third set of prerequisite is about configuring and setting up the notifications. As we discussed, we will be using the Slack messaging tool, and we will be integrating by creating a configuration in AWS ChatOps so that the notifications are sent to the Slack channel. And we will also be creating and configuring AWS SNS for email notifications for manual approval. Finally, when the solutions is either, even if it is working or if it is failing, the notifications will be given. So in case of a successful completion, we would then go ahead and deploy the same solutions into the production connection, or it could be from a different account. Then we could use the cross account roles access and get the solutions implemented. Now let's see in detail about how all these solutions, or how this is all coming together. So this is about creating the RDS snapshots. As discussed, we could either be retaining it into create a snapshot, and then we could export it into S3 and later on use this ARN in order to be used while we are doing a restore of the databases. And this is a snapshot of how it is being stored in the S3 bucket along with the database name. For example, here becomes the payroll, and I also have a couple of tables here for representation purpose, and it will be storing it in a Parquet format. It's quite 2 times faster and 6 times cheaper than any text format that could be stored in S3. Hence, it is storing it in a Parquet format. And this is a view of a snapshot that is directly manually taken based out of the database that is relying in the AWS RDS. And now let's come ahead and see how to set up and configure a ECR. Elastic Container Registry is ECR, and we will be creating a new repository here calling MyRDS image repo, and this is the URI that is being generated and could be used later on. Thus, by creating a repository, as you could see, it is encrypted via KMS. And now we'll go ahead and create an image and then tag it to the latest, and let's retain it here, and we can use this ARN in order to be used it in the code build service. So as discussed, if we get into the code build service, under the environment section, we have options where we can configure and select the ECR image that has to be used. So I go ahead and select it as a custom image, and I select Linux, and from Amazon ECR and from my ECR account, I can select the image I just created based on my necessities, and then I go ahead and pick the tag with which I would want to work. And this is how the ECR repo is integrated with the code build service. And next we'll see how to configure Slack in this AWS chatbot service. So first we'll have the Slack app deployed, and we have to create a new channel. Over here it is my RDS CICD is the channel that I have created. And later on this channel will be integrated with the AWS chatbot Slack app. And after creating a channel, I go ahead and start adding users, as many users I would want with the valid email IDs, so that all the users under this channel are receiving the notifications. And finally, this is a snapshot of how the Slack channel is integrated inside the AWS chatbot. Basically, we'll be configuring a client which becomes our Slack here, and the Slack channel will be configured here along the client configuration. And this ARN can be used with the code pipeline service, so that on any build failures, we will be notified via Slack. Now let us set up the SNS notifications for manual approvals from code pipeline. So as we all know, this is a simple notification service based out of email. So on adding a valid email IDs, we will be getting an email link for confirmation of subscription. On confirming the subscription to a particular topic, this happens to be my RDS CICD notification topic here. On confirmation, the email ID subscribed here will be receiving alerts from the code pipeline job against which this topic is set up and configured. Now let's see how the AWS code pipeline is configured for notification rules. So there is a new concept in notification rules. This will allow, as you could see, it is a rule set up on a subscription to events that will happen within your resources. So when these events occurs, you will receive a notifications to the targets you designate. So if you could see here, there are events that will be triggered based on the notifications, and it is classified against 4 categories like action execution, stage execution, pipeline, and manual approval. So I have selected about failures and cancellations over here, or in this case, if an action is starting, then I have selected for notification. So these are the events that will be triggering a notification, and the target happens to be my Slack channel over here. So the target type would be chatbots Slack, and the ARN we just configured in the previous steps will be selected over here. So this is how a Slack is integrated for any of the activities in the code pipeline. I can even go ahead and say if a pipeline is starting, as of now, I have configured only for pipeline executions, failure and cancellations will be alerting an message in my Slack channel. So this is how we can configure and set up the Slack channel to, code pipeline to notify us through the Slack channel. So this is the notification name, and the setup is now complete. Now let's see how to run the AWS code pipeline for database related CI/CD. So this pipeline has been created just with 2 steps, which is one is about the source with which I'll be able to take and run and apply the changes to the database environment. And the next one is the code build, which is giving me the environment to compile and run my database code in order to validate the changes. So with just 2 steps, we'll be able to complete this implementation. And as such, we are not having any application or a package to deploy, and we do not have any servers, multiple servers to connect, copy, and deploy the solutions or the packages. We will not be using code deploy here. So just by using the source and the code build stage, we'll be able to complete the solution. And as you could see, it could be S3 as well. The source could be. And this is about the logs that is telling us about how the solution has shaped up. The log is explaining us about when the build has started and the identifiers or the runtime parameters and the restore activities that are happening here. And this is the successful state of the completion of code build. This is the build log. And this is the actual implementation walkthrough for a buildspec.yaml. So if you're new to buildspec.yaml, this is a build manifest which will explain the actions that has to be performed completely. And without this file, the code build is incomplete and it will not be able to produce any output or result as such by code build itself. So we need this buildspec.yaml here it is divided into many phases like a pre-build, build, and post-build. And again, beneath this, we will be placing the commands that we would want to apply, or we would want to see execute in the target environment. So the environment against where all these commands will be executed is our environment, which we have already created via the ECR image. Or it could be that you could directly select a managed image. It could be Ubuntu or your Amazon Linux. And later to that, you can install the MySQL client interaction tools over here, and then go ahead and use it. If you have to omit the ECR option here, usage of ECR service over here, then you could manually do it in the pre-build section. It gets into the pre-build section because before the actual build process happens, we need all this code and the essential softwares to be readily available. So the first thing that happens here is in the pre-build phase, I'm checking about the AWS version. My image is having AWS CLI 2.x version, and this is required in order to run the AWS RDS restore commands. So that's why I'm checking the AWS version. And either I could be able to clone it from the repository. Over here, I have taking the repository from release 010000, or as an alternate idea, I could be copying uploading the code into S3, and from S3 I could copy it into the target folder in the target environment. And then we enter into the build phase, wherein these are the actual heart of the solutions, wherein the command is the idea is to use the snapshot and restore the snapshot by creating a new DB instance. So for that, we use the AWS RDS restore DB cluster from snapshot command by giving the snapshot identifier and also the VPC security group in which we would want to place this temporary DB cluster. And then this is about giving some time in order for the DB cluster to be created. And finally, once the DB cluster is created, we would start by creating a DB instance. When it comes to Amazon Aurora, first we'll have to create, restore the DB cluster, and follow to that, we'll have to create a DB instance. So again, we would wait for the DB instance to be created. And this is about giving the option, the engine, which engine we would want to create. And as we said, it is Aurora MySQL. And after giving a time for the DB instance to be created and be available, we will connect to describe the DB cluster, and then we would fetch the endpoints. So the endpoints being unique and not the one and the same as the existing database with which we took the snapshot. Let us connect to this MySQL client interactive tool against this endpoint, and let us run the DB changes over here. So we will not be disturbing the actual or original databases, as the endpoints are different. Every time we restore it with the snapshots that we generated in the RDS console. So by this way, we are able to apply the DB changes, and the DB changes files are coming from the git clone option or the S3. I will be gathering the MySQL logs here and would also be redirecting any errors to the error logs separately. And these error logs could later be grabbed or could further be analyzed for, in this case, I'm giving for error keyword and would fail the build forcefully. It could be, we can slowly enhance the solutions in order to, look into the logs further and looking for other errors based on the custom error messages that is generated, and would also be failing the build according to the reasons that we encounter in the error logs. And follow to this, we could run the application test cases if applicable as per your use case. And coming to the post-build section, now though we have a clear solutions of having a temporary cluster created, a temporary DB created under that cluster, and finally we have applied the DB changes, and then we have checked for any errors, and if it's all successful, it will be progressing, or else we will be failing the build, and thus the solution is complete here. And then coming to the post-build section, let us not leave the databases and the clusters as is, and let us drop it as we have created only for temporary testing purposes. So we come here and use the RDS delete statements in order to delete the instance and delete the cluster. So with this, we have a complete working solution which is implementing the CI/CD for databases. This is the gist and the basic idea of implementing CI/CD. And this could be further, and there is a lot of room for improvements. We could even generate reports and generate artifacts on output files based on the changes that we apply. But this is the basic idea of how do we go ahead and implement it by utilizing all the features and the vital features of RDS, how we go ahead and implement the solution using the native tools. So with all that being done, let's see how notifications are generated. Coming from the build perspective, in case of a code pipeline execution is starting, then we are notified from our with the details and with the pipeline's name in the Slack channel that we have configured. This is an example of a stage that has failed, and also a stage about apply final, and there is another code build test that has actually failed. Let us discuss about, so all that we have seen the ideas and the notifications about implementing. Let's see the alternate idea about, seeing the solutions work. So instead of going with all the service, using of all the services and complicating, to start with, I encourage and insist people who are watching this to go ahead and try out with a simple S3 bucket. Just start by creating with a text file or a SQL file with a couple of alter tables and a create table statements. Place it into the S3 bucket of your respective account, and then go ahead and create a code build service as a project, and then copy this into your managed images or your custom images if you would like to use the ECR. And then using the CLI, create a simple RDS DB, and then take a snapshot of it and try implementing the solutions. If not, and then a tag one by one, you could add all the other services as and when you could make progress from each of these stages. Then it should be definitely successful, and you should be able to see a working solutions over there. And then follow to that, you could do the build and notifications for you. Hope this is very interesting, and also like encouraging you to go ahead and try some new solutions. So thank you so much. Thanks for watching. If you're interested in more and you would like to grow along with the community by knowing from each other, please join us in the Facebook and the Twitter handles as given here. Thank you so much.